As you know, we are facing a tough economy in the United States today. Unemployment rates are high, and jobs are very hard to come by. High unemployment and very few jobs lead to a very competitive job market. This makes your task as a job seeker all that more challenging. With all this competition, it is more important than ever that you stand out from all the other job seekers out there. This workshop will help you figure out how to stand out from all the rest. It will also help you develop a winning job search strategy. Here are some truths about job seeking. First, job seeking is not a science. Next, employers all around are different in the way they recruit, as well as their hiring practices. Not to mention their attitudes about you, the job seekers. Looking for a job is a job, and it's not that easy. The job hunt is often long, difficult, and frustrating. You can expect to be rejected many times in this process. Ultimately, the responsibility of keeping at your job hunt is yours. And last, as you can see here, don't give up. Persevere. Think positive. You see this sentence here asking, are you a cookie cutter job seeker? You may wonder what cookie cutter job seeker means. It's like baking cookies at Christmas time, all of them in the same shape of a Christmas tree, and all of them looking exactly the same. That's the concept of this question, asking you, the people, if you're using that same cookie cutter technique for each and every job. That's an ineffective strategy. That can make them all blend with masses rather than stand out from the crowd. In a tough economy, you have to make yourself look different and be better to the employer than all the other people applying for the job. You don't want to be a cookie-cutter job seeker. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to look at strategies that job seekers use that do not work very well. First, if you, the job seeker, are using the strategy of spending more than 20% of your time viewing the internet for job postings, that's not recommended. In reality, there are few job seekers that get jobs from the internet. Only 4 to 10% of job hunters get a job offer from an internet posting. That's a very small number. Next, don't have a narrow job search. Or be in desperate mode, applying to anything and everything. Focusing your job search is where you narrow it down to the type of work you are most qualified to do. Being in desperate mode is when you tell an employer you will do anything. Employers don't want to hear that. They want to make sure this is the right person for the job they are looking for. Responding to job postings using a poor quality resume and/or cover letter. If you send a resume and a cover letter that looks exactly the same as the rest, remember the cookie cutter we just referred to, that's not recommended. Your resume and/or cover letter must be tailored to each position applying for to show the employer how fit you are for the job. And finally, people who don't use the internet enough for research. The internet is a fantastic resource to do some research on the company you're interested in applying. You can look into the culture, climate, policies, and procedures, as well as their hiring practices. Again, the internet is a fantastic resource for that. Job seekers also make the mistake of focusing their job search methods on activities that companies rely less on when hiring new employees. Now take a look at these two lists. First, you'll notice how job seekers spend most of their time preparing and sending resumes, when actually, the employers rank reading resumes as the very last thing they do when hiring people. As you can see here, job seekers spend the least amount of time getting inside a company, while most employers prefer to hire from inside the company. And that's the difference between the two categories. This tells us that job seekers need to change their strategies to match those that employers use when hiring people. What can you do? Or how can you stand out from the crowd? We have several strategies listed here. The first thing you should do is make sure you know yourself and focus your job search. The next thing you should do is evaluate your skills and figure out what are your job targets. Targets are where you would like to be working. You can have more than one target if you feel qualified to take a job in that field. Now that you know the type of position you desire, what are your qualifications for your job target? What knowledge, skills, and abilities do you have that make you qualified to do your target job? Next, who do you want to work for? As in your target market of employers. Identify companies that you would like to work based on your job target. Next, we have where do you want to work, as in your geographical area. Don't limit how far you are willing to go to work because you are limiting your chances of finding a job. What is the prevailing rate of pay for your job target? Find out what the usual wage is for your job target in your area. These are tips to better help you stand out in the crowd amongst the applicants. Define your value. Here are the reasons it's important to define your value and how to do so. Think of 2 or 3 traits, skills, or areas of expertise that you are confident you are better than almost everyone else in relation to your job target. These are things that will make an employer want to hire you. Know them and be ready to show them to an employer. Create a target list of specific companies you'd like to work for. Your list should be all companies in the industry you want to work for, including competitors, vendors, suppliers, as well as any company that your previous employer did business with. How to utilize job boards wisely. There are plenty of job boards posted on the internet. Do not spend all of your time searching for jobs, viewing and responding to internet postings. 1 to 2 hours a day is sufficient. Create a schedule for viewing job boards. Only apply to vacant positions when you are highly qualified. Highly qualified means occupation and industry match is best. You may wonder, just how important is research? Well, it's extremely important. Here are 3 points in your job search where company research is very important. The first one, as you can see here, is starting your job search. Starting your job search means identifying key companies in your profession, industry, or geographical area in which you'd like to work. The next one, as you can see here, when applying to an employer, take time to learn about an employer before you send them any application documents. Tailor your resume and cover letter to the company so you will stand out from the rest. And third, when invited to an interview, you should perform in-depth research before going to the job interview. Try to find individuals who work there and are willing to give you that information. Ask around. You never know who might be willing to share information about the company. This information explains why research is important. You must network. Remember, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and who you get to meet. Focus your job search energy on networking. Networking is the #1 source of job leads. Networking is key to job search success. And networking is all about relationships. Networking is about asking for information or referrals, not about asking for a job. This chart shows you who to ask and what you want to ask them. Who to ask? We have your family, relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, that whole network. Or your friends and the friends of friends and their families as well as that network. Business contacts, your former employers and coworkers. The high school you attended, or maybe college alumni. Different religious organizations. Networking groups. This is a list of people that you can contact. Now that you've established who your network is, here's a list of questions that you may want to ask. First, here's what to ask. Who they know at target companies. Next, ask if they know someone at that company who they can refer you to. Another question you can ask is which companies are hiring. The last one you see here, if you ask them and they know someone at the company, find out the names of hiring managers within your target companies. If you are in the market for a new job, or just want to make a professional connection and network with other professional people who are similar to you, then you have to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a social networking website similar to Facebook. However, LinkedIn is focused on business professional networking. If you'd like to learn more about LinkedIn, join by going to www.linkedin.com. You must develop an effective resume for your job search. Here are some ways to develop an effective resume. You can watch the Effective Resume Writing Workshop and get help at your local Michigan Works to develop a resume. Now, your resume should highlight your qualifications, skills, and positive work habits. And third, your resume will be more effective if it includes key words. Putting keywords in your resume that relate to your target job will make sure that if a computer is scanning your resume, it will choose you as a possible person for that job. Your resume should be custom designed for each job opportunity. A generic or one-size-fits-all resumes do not work. And finally, make sure you have a strong, error-free resume. Now it's time to brush up on your interviewing skills. Be prepared when you walk through the door to impress the interviewer. Here are 2 suggested ways to do so. Watch the interviewing skills workshop to understand the techniques of good interviewing. Or second, you can also watch Dress for Success, a workshop to make sure you know what to wear in an interview.